Imagine opening your eyes for the very first time and discovering that your mother has already vanished into the blue and 300 siblings are suddenly your competition, your camouflage, and your potential coffin. A flash of silver, a swipe of steel, and the ocean decides whether your story lasts 30 seconds or a century. Life as a whale shark, the gentlest giant nobody lets grow up, begins in chaos. You start as an egg rolling in a living tumble-dryer, your mother's womb. Around you, hundreds of brothers and sisters, some curled tight, others twitching, a few already still. When her muscles seize, seawater floods the tunnel and yanks the whole clutch toward daylight. You're spat into open night, flip once, steady your miniature tail, and in that heartbeat your mother fades into nothing. Parenting ends at the starting line. Fewer than 1 in 10 newborns see tomorrow. You drift a moment too long enough for a marlin's blade to whistle past, skewer the sibling behind you, and stain the water pink. You don't mourn, you simply swivel away because hesitation costs lives. A diver years later will find marlin scars on an adult whale shark's flank and wonder when that first duel happened. The answer is almost always before its first sunrise. At 60 centimeters, you're a snack with fins. Your top speed is a sluggish 3 miles per hour, so you ride warm currents like an escalator, mouth agape, filtering whatever microscopic buffet drifts past. Tiny, soft, and slow, that's dinner. Drifting plywood becomes shelter. You tuck under rafts of sargassum to blur your outline. In the Indian Ocean, researchers once filmed a dozen neon blue dolphinfish circling a sargassum mat. Beneath it hid a whale shark pup no longer than a skateboard, using weeds as a portable cave until nightfall. Daylight thickens ahead. You're gliding toward a coral spawn bloom, billions of eggs swirling like peach-colored smoke. It smells like survival, so you nose straight into the fog, inhaling calories while chaos erupts around you. Sardines slice in first, mouths saw wide. Jacks follow in silver avalanches. Juvenile reef sharks crash through, turning the haze into confetti. You keep your rhythm, slow, deliberate swallows, because sprinting wastes energy. A Malagasy fisherman once watched a newborn whale shark take 40 lazy gulps inside a spawn cloud, feeding for nearly 2 full minutes, while reef fish frenzied on all sides. The baby drifted off with a swollen belly and the calm of something that's never had to chase breakfast. Weeks roll into months, and you double in size, but every mouthful now carries invisible land trash. Microplastics drift alongside plankton, slipping through your gill rakers by the hundreds per hour. Marine vets in Gujarat opened a stranded 18-month-old youngster and found 50 brightly colored plastic pellets jammed where zooplankton should have been. Proof that pollution crowds your stomach before your life even starts. Ghost nets arrive next. A translucent snare wraps your right fin. You yank, twist, and luckily tear free before the net's owner hauls it. Many juveniles aren't lucky. A Filipino dive guide once spent 40 minutes carving a 2-meter pup out of monofilament. The little shark swam in circles, then bolted so hard it vanished into silt like a frightened shadow, leaving the diver shaking from adrenaline and awe. Predators still circle. Your first serious challenger is a blue shark, sleek, electric, and just bold enough to be annoying. It darts in, scrapes your flank with serrated teeth, and veers off before you can pivot. The second pass is slower, cockier. You coil your 5-meter frame and whip a tail strike that claps like underwater thunder. The blue spirals away, trailing a red ribbon. Lesson learned. Months later, you blunder into a bait net packed with anchovies and straight into an orca ambush. They're not here for the fish, they're after you. Orcas pull the net corner, ram the middle, snap the lines. You jam your snout through a gap and power free, but one black and white torpedo shadows you. Another tail slap buys escape. Predators respect size, even when that size is still a work in progress. Humans seldom attack with teeth. They favor shrimp in a bucket and a GoPro. Near Oslab in the Philippines, small boats scatter krill at sunrise. Whale sharks, some the same ones born in offshore nurseries, line up in obedient rows, vertical, mouths open like vending machines. Hand-feeding rewires ancient migration paths. A few sharks now linger all year waiting for breakfast. Local guides joke that one juvenile named Mr. Bean arrives every dawn at exactly 6:15 and nudges boats if they're late. Proof that our habits become theirs. Scientists clamping soda can-sized tags to your skin have tracked dives beyond 1,900 meters, deep enough to crush steel dive lights. One female tagged off Mexico, crossed the Pacific, threaded Guam, and resurfaced 18 months later near the Galapagos after 6 equator crossings and a depth record that dented the tag's titanium shell. Many tags never phone home. Pressure turns them to scrap before they surface, but the fragments still whisper that your highway is global. Years blur into migrations. You're nearly 11 meters long when a new scent slips into your nostrils, an ancient chemical telegram humming mate. Now, you track it for days until a silhouette appears, a larger female hovering just off current. There's no ballet, no rose petals, just a gentle bite behind her pectoral fin to anchor yourself while you align. Minutes later, it's over. Embryos begin dividing inside her, destined for the same solitary birth you survived. She glides away without looking back. You return to the wandering life, wondering if any of your offspring will outswim the first marlin they meet. Not every tale ends in mystery. At Ningaloo Reef, tourists have photographed the same scar-striped male, nicknamed Domino, for the domino dot pattern on his flank, for 27 consecutive years. He carried a gouge the length of a surfboard after a suspected propeller strike, vanished for 2 seasons, then reappeared healed, but forever dimpled. Domino proves your kind can patch even brutal injuries if steel doesn't win the second round. Size should guarantee safety, except from hulls. A plankton corridor ahead is thick with mackerel and krill. You rise, mouth wide, and something rigid slams your skull. A container ship, 50 times longer than you, never notices. Dazed, you spiral downward, the world reduced to muffled propeller thumps and swirling stars. Countless whale sharks vanish this way. Most feeding hotspots overlap high-speed shipping lanes, yet speed limits remain rare. Taiwanese fishers once hauled up a 12-meter carcass with a satellite tag still blinking from Mozambique. An unlucky traveler that cruised 9,000 miles only to be silenced by one steel kiss. Your head throbs, but instinct keeps the tail moving. Decades pass in ocean time-lapse. Warming currents shift plankton blooms northward, forcing you to chase dinner into cooler latitudes where nights stretch longer than your patience. Some winters, you glide under auroras so bright the plankton shimmer green. Other years, you track prey into red tide mazes that sting your gills and leave you coughing slime. Off Baja, night fishing boats string LED nets that glow like alien landing strips. Light pollution that scrambles your vision and draws krill away in glittering curtains. You adjust, because adaptation is your only prayer. At 35, you're fully grown, 11 tons of gentle vacuum cleaner, hoovering microscopic soup in a slow, perpetual cruise. The plankton patch you're clearing ripples oddly, vibration shivers through the water like distant thunder. You look up, another hull, gray and fast, bearing down. You pivot, but momentum isn't on your side. Mass moves like syrup. Steel clips your eye ridge, blacks out the world, and flips you into a silent freefall. Sand rushes up. Gills beat once, twice, then stop. Scavengers carve away the legend until only cartilage remains. Somewhere on deck, a tourist photographs the sunset, unaware the largest fish on Earth just died beneath the keel. You were built to outlive storms and shark teeth, but not propellers. In a single strike, a 3-million-year success story ends without witnesses. Yet your death writes a plea across every shipping chart. Slow down, slide over, or lose the ocean's gentlest titan before we finish mapping its mysteries. Think this journey was brutal? Meet the creature that hatches inside boiling volcanic vents, and learn why its very first breath might also be its last. Click over and brace yourself.